Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Matt.
I'm Pop-Pop.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Tracy.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of stuff on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. What's going on here? Oh, look at these big boys. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to see you. We have got a beautiful but chilly morning here in Northeast Pennsylvania. Thankfully, we've got enough clothes so that we're not minding it too much. And the cattle, they're not minding it at all. We've been going through and feeding the animals, checking on every single one of them. They've dealt with much colder temperatures in the past, but we still like to make sure that we give them a look over. This last basket of eggs should be it for animals. One of the nest boxes fell in one of the chicken pens, so we had to get that all taken care of this morning. Chickens seem pretty spooked by it, but for the most part, they're okay. Are you helping Aunt Tracy today?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
I'm making puppy food.
Oh, you're making puppy food? We were bagging up some potatoes in the farm market. The farm market is all filled up and ready to go. So we were discussing some things that need to be done, and you would not believe it, middle of October, and we have an order for tomatoes. Yeah, 1.5 bushel of plum tomatoes, and then we also need to grab some plum tomatoes for Grammy, so that's also what we're gonna be grabbing while we're out there. Not only do we need plum tomatoes, but we need some sweet corn. It didn't freeze yet on that last patch of sweet corn, so we can still harvest. All we're waiting for is Matthew, and then we're gonna be on our way. Matthew had to move a big truck around and move something else, so we just left him at home. He'll be joining us shortly, but Dad and I have made it out to the tomato field. We're gonna be grabbing the plum tomatoes. And Dad, did you think you'd be picking tomatoes in the middle of October?
Nope, but we'll do it.
Yeah, it looks like there's tomatoes here. Check that out. Now, in weeks past, we've been able to just pick in a straight line down through the field, but at this point in the year, I'm having to hop around a little bit. We've picked these tomatoes quite heavily, and there's not that many clumps of ripe ones just sitting around. So we're having to do a little bit of searching, but we're still able to find nice tomatoes. Now, would I prefer to go through and just get the baskets filled really quickly? Yeah, I would prefer that, but we do have to recognize what time of the year it is, and we also have to recognize that we picked a lot of tomatoes out of these fields. These plants are determinate, so the varieties we raise are determinate. That basically means they put all their fruit on at one time. Now, this year was a little interesting because it seemed like we had longer sustained harvests, which is not usually the case with determinate tomatoes, but nonetheless, a lot of the crop has already been picked off. So we're not expecting to find massive amounts of tomatoes. I mean, we look at the weather we're dealing with. This isn't the best for growing tomatoes, but the fact that we're still able to find some and we're able to find a decent amount is really, really nice. It makes me happy. I mean, if we were done picking tomatoes by this point in the year, I think I'd be okay with it, but it's still really cool to find them looking like this. Now, I was mentioning I have to kind of move around all over the place, and that's because we did pick so many tomatoes. So there's little pockets of areas where the tomatoes were probably still green that we didn't pick, and now that we're coming through again, they have ripened up to the point where we can take them. and that's what we're grabbing right now. A lot of the tomatoes that were red already, I am finding quite a few bad spots on them, but that's just from the weather. Again, it's to be expected, but if we continue looking around, we still find really, really nice plum tomatoes. I know it's a shame to see them dying, but I was just sitting here trying to think how many tomatoes we picked all year. I wish I had a count of how many baskets I filled. I was able to get my basket all filled. Matthew showed up and helped Dad. They got the other baskets of tomatoes filled. Yeah, I'll say they look like nice tomatoes. They look like nice tomatoes any time of the year. On to the sweet corn. All the leaves on the mountain are starting to change colors. It is absolutely beautiful out here. We've made it to the sweet corn. It looks like it's been hit by some frost. I don't think it's enjoyed the heavy winds that we've had, but we're not too concerned with how it looks. We're concerned with this right here, beautiful ears. There we go. We got 3 large baskets full of sweet corn. That should be plenty for the farm market today. Now what's neat is right next to the sweet corn that we're harvesting, we have some wheat planted, and the wheat is starting to come up. Look at that. Quite the issue with birds in our field though, picking at the wheat, which isn't the end of the world as long as they're not digging it up out of the ground. I don't see that problem, but we don't want animals eating our crop. So that's kind of unfortunate. But we got our sweet corn picked, we got our tomatoes, back to the farm. On our way back to the farm with the produce that we had just picked, Dad stopped and he hopped in the tractor and he got started on harvesting some potatoes. Well, if you remember last time we came through and harvested potatoes, we got quite a bit, and I think we're gonna be getting quite a bit again today. The only difference is Dad did not pick the entire row. He harvested 2 rows into one, and he went about halfway. So it would basically be like doing a full row, but today we weren't planning on picking up potatoes all day. You know, when we have the extra help, Daniel is still on his anniversary vacation. When we have the extra help, it's nice, but since it's only Dad, myself, and Matt, we decided to do 2 rows halfway through the field. And even though it's only halfway through the field, I still think there is way too many potatoes here. How did this happen? Good year for potatoes. What's funny was it was so dry and we did not irrigate potatoes once. Could you imagine what these potatoes would look like if we irrigated them? Ay, ay, ay. Now the piece of equipment that we were using to pull these potatoes out of the ground is called a windrower. What it's really used for is putting multiple rows into one, but we use it just to get the potatoes on top of the soil and then we can come through and pick them up. Now what we have in front of us is 2 separated rows. So the windrower actually harvests 2 rows at a time, but we just call them sets of rows. So altogether we have 4 rows on one pile. Now this is from 2 rows and this is from 2 rows. Dad didn't put them together so that you could see the amount of potatoes that each set of 2 rows is putting up for us. And yeah, it's quite a bit. We're happy with the way things look. Now you can get an understanding of why there is so many potatoes in these rows as we go out through the field, because ultimately this is 4 rows of potatoes put into 1. Just trying to help everyone appreciate what we've got going on here and why there is so many potatoes.
This one?
Yeah, because the potatoes are going to fall right through.
Ah, I'm sorry.
No, not. Get 2 half bushel boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're whack.
One thing I love about this variety of potatoes we raise called Evas is how round they are. I mean, they don't necessarily need to be round. They just look really, really nice. They are beautiful potatoes. Now you can use these for anything. You can use them for fries. You can use them for mashing. You can use them for chips. These are a good all-round potato. One thing we love about them is just the way they look. You know, a lot of people like the look of a russet, but when you find a beautiful round Eva, ooh, that is such a beautiful tater. Look at this one. Do you see this? This is like 3 potatoes in 1. Yeah. We haven't made it that far into the field, and we're just about at 16 full baskets. Just to help you appreciate how much is really lying here on the ground. Now you've seen us harvesting a lot of the white potatoes. We do have some yellow potatoes to harvest. It's not near as much as our white potatoes, but we do have a few. And we have already harvested our red potatoes. So we only had about 2 smaller rows of red potatoes left, and we had gone through and harvested them. They're now in the storage area. They're gonna stay nice and dry and cool for as long as we can. And then when we do need to sell red potatoes, we can just get them out and wash them. In the past, we've tried growing some other potatoes. We did fingerlings for a little bit. They're one of my favorite potatoes. But they just didn't sell as well. And also, they were kind of hard to harvest because they were on the tinier side. You ended up breaking a lot of them. We didn't have the proper equipment to harvest them. A little bit of an update for you. We've continued to make progress. We haven't gotten that far, but we're filling up baskets really, really fast. Another bin has now been filled up. It's actually going rather quickly with just the 3 of us here. We're not gonna get it all done before lunch, but we'll definitely be able to get it done by the end of today. We have about 5 more rows after this one that need to be harvested. So there's a lot of double rows there, but it'll combine into 5 rows just like this. It is a lot of potatoes, but I think we're gonna be able to manage. In the upcoming days, it's gonna get very, very cold, and we're not gonna be able to harvest much of anything else. There will be some stuff like the cole crops, but I don't think the peppers are gonna be looking too hot soon, and the tomatoes, they're on their way out, which is to be expected. But, you know, that's okay, because we got a lot of potatoes to pick up. We've gotten 3 bins so far, lots of beautiful, nice potatoes, but we've run out of time for the morning. We're gonna head back for lunch, so I'm just gonna pick up Dad with the side-by-side, and we're gonna be on our way. What are we having today, Grammy?
Hot turkey sandwiches.
Oh my goodness, that sounds perfect. And what are you doing over here? Are you playing? Yeah? We are back out in the fields. We had a really good lunch, and then after lunch we got all the potatoes that we had already harvested put into the storage area. It doesn't get much more exciting than what we've got going on here. I know for some people this may seem like a boring job. Out of all the jobs that we could do, I probably wouldn't pick this as my favorite, but it's one of those jobs that needs to get done. We do have a timetable that we are following, and we need to get it done sooner rather than later. As long as the weather continues to be on the nicer side, we shouldn't have too many problems. But if we run into a really bad cold snap where it's gonna freeze the ground solid, then we'll have to really get to moving. But for now, we're okay. Well, we got all the potatoes picked off of the ground and into baskets. So now I just need to get this bin filled up, and then we're gonna have no bins here. So Dad is running home with the four-wheeler. He's gonna bring out another bin for us. That way we can get all this taken care of. I think I'm gonna fit one more on here. It was starting to feel a little warmer, which is nice because the wind has picked up. The sun's come out. That's been a big help. But when we're dealing with clouds and wind, it gets pretty chilly out here. I'll be very happy if the sun decides to stay around for a while. There goes 2 more bins. And that's the last of the potatoes. Load onto the wagon. It's time to go home and get all this taken care of. That should be it for potatoes, unless we change our mind. But over there, it looks like it might be changing our mind for us. I think storms are forming over here. Wind's blowing this way, but it's a pretty good looking storm going that way. I don't know, we need rain, but we also don't need it for what we have going on. There's a lot of people cutting beans right now. So, I mean, if it rains, that'd be good. If it doesn't rain, that'd be good too. It don't matter to me anymore. Right over my shoulder, these are all our bins of red potatoes. And if we go over to the other side, these are all our bins of white potatoes all the way to the back there. Now we're definitely gonna have more white potatoes than red potatoes this year, but I just want to give you a little idea of how much is really there. You want me to stop, boss? Whoa, 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 sorry. We made our way back out to the fields because we need to grab some stuff for Grammy. Grammy needs red beets, and well, we're at the red beets. Come on. That's a big red beet.
I think she told me yesterday she made 10 batches of salsa.
Yeah. And it's all gone?
No. There's a bushel of tomatoes in each batch.
Oh.
So she's made 10 bushels of salsa.
And it's probably almost all gone.
No, I think
or she's just storing it up.
She's trying to stockpile it up so we have it to sell all winter. If you're if you're doing it on a Friday night at 10 o'clock at night,
yeah, if I was doing what we did, making that, I don't know if I would.
Well, not even that. Like if you were able to do it during the day, it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, like if I. What time did we get done?
Yo, baby.
10 o'clock at night.
10 o'clock at night. Yeah. So I think I wouldn't mind doing salsa and stuff, but I don't want to be doing it after I've worked all day.
That is the problem.
We got all our red beets. We did have some cylinder planted out here, and Dad was able to get a whole basket. He thinks that's gonna make him Grammy's favorite, like he isn't already Grammy's favorite.
4 baskets of Cuban elk.
Yeah, and you're not gonna get.
Well, unfortunately, it's began to rain. We just ran back to the farm. We got quite a few baskets. We have to get some peppers picked, so that's where we're off to next. You can actually see a giant cloud of dust forming over there. It hasn't rained in a while. I mean, we've had rain recently, but it hasn't been enough. So I guess the rains must have been pretty pounding over there because it's kicking dust up. Can you tell what our order is for? Not red bell, green bell. Yeah, they want 6 bushel. So we told them we'll try and fill the order. We have to see what we can find. Hopefully we'll be able to find 6 bushel of green bell. Right now we're at our 3rd planting, so we're going through taking off whatever we can find. A lot of these plants have been hit by frost now, so the top part, you can see all these leaves have died off. So we will be out here soon trying to take all the red bell as well. That's going to be the plan, but for now we're just trying to grab all these green bell we can. Just got all the peppers ran through the washer. We had a few extra leftover baskets of green bell, but we got our 2 bushel of cubanelle, and then we got 6 bushel of green bell for sale. Sometimes when you're picking, you'll harvest peppers that aren't really that nice. They have imperfections and other problems, but we know what to do with those. Right, girls? Go get it. I don't think you can see it on the camera, but my face is so red, not from sunburn, from windburn. It wasn't much sun today, but goodness, I can feel it on my cheeks. Alrighty, everybody, I'm now home. Lauren made spaghetti for dinner. The babies just ate their dinner. They're sitting over here relaxing. Hi, Ronnie boy. Hi, Lily girl. And now it is time for dinner. We're gonna sit down and eat, and since we're gonna sit down and eat, that means this is where we're gonna end the video today. I would like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.